Welcome back to my channel. Today again, we are going to do another review of another video that is talking about the patriarchy. Let's get right into it.
Bring back the patriarchy. I want to stay at home. I want to take care of my kids.
You do not need to bring back the patriarchy in order to be stay-at-home mom. You just need a good man next to you.
Okay, she said you do not need to bring back the patriarchy in order to be a stay-at-home mom. You only need a good man next to you. Well, a good man must follow certain explicit rules, principles, and regulations in order to be a good man. If he doesn't follow certain rules and obey certain codes of conduct, he cannot be a good man. And one of the rules that he's following, and she's implying that in her statement, is that the man will be able to provide for her and protect her and the children that she will bear. Well, that's the patriarchy, because the man is going to be a father. So the father is going to be a good father. So if the father is a good father, he must set up good rules for the family. Well, that's the patriarchy. When his children are born, the children are new to the world. He must apply these rules and regulations to his children. He must set boundaries around his children and for the sake of his children. And for the sake of his wife also, he must set up boundaries and rules and regulations. Well, that is the patriarchy right there. That's what the patriarchy is. The father rule. That's it. The rule of the father. That's the patriarchy. So what she's really saying is that you need a good patriarchy. That's a righteous patriarchy. That's what she's saying to me. That's what I hear she's saying. But she didn't say it. She said a good man, because she does not want to say the word patriarchy. Let's continue watching.
But by you promoting the patriarchy, you are discrediting all of the women who want different things from you. For example, careers, or for example, women who are simply not attracted to men. What do they do in the patriarchy society?
Well, if they are not attracted to men and they do not want to get married, well, they live alone by themselves. They get the career and go find somewhere to live by themselves, and no one bothers them. The patriarchy is not for them. The patriarchy means the rule of the father. So if they do not want to be in a relationship with a loving father of the children under a righteous man, then they can be by themselves wherever they want to live. No one's supposed to bother them, because if the patriarchy is a righteous patriarchy, then the patriarchy is not going to bother them, because righteousness does not do evil. Righteousness does righteousness. So if they want to be single and live by themselves, then righteously, they have the right to be single and live by themselves. The patriarchy, the righteous patriarchy, has nothing to do with them not loving men, not being attracted to men, and wanting to be single and live by themselves. I mean, it's that simple.
And you went even further, and you said that you will even delete all of your social media without him asking to do so. Question, will he do the same thing, or only you have to do so?
Well, if he is not using social media for business purposes, and social media is affecting his mindset toward his family, then he should delete it. That's righteous for him to delete it. He must delete it. And it's preferably that he delete it so that he can have more time to talk and communicate and enjoy his family, not to spend all his hours in social media. I mean, that makes logical sense.
And then let's pretend the scenario where he's clearly dominating your life, and then one day he starts coming back home later and later, and you understand what's going on. So now you have two different scenarios which you can follow. The first one, you just pretend that you don't notice any of this happening. And the second one, you have to leave. But how? Because in a relationship like this, where a man is dominated, you do not have a prenup. You do not have 50% of his business written under your name. Of course not. He doesn't even think that you are worthy of this in the first place.
Okay, what she's describing here is not the patriarchy, but rather colonization. That's exactly what she's describing here. Colonization. A colonizer came to your territory and colonized you. And because he came to get resources from you, he doesn't put you in the same status and standing as him, as a colonizer. I mean, what good man, what good father, what loving father and righteous man who cares for his family, who cares for his wife, and the future of his children, will not think and plan for the future for when or if he passes away, so that his widowed wife and fatherless children would have resources to be able to live by. Why would he not put his wife under his will and his children's name under his will? Why would he not do that? Only a colonizer does that to those he colonized. I mean, he suppressed them. He only used them as resources for his benefit. But that's what she's describing here. You're not describing the patriarchy. You're describing colonization. So let's put this in mind. Colonization is what you're describing, not the patriarchy. Because the patriarchy, the rule of the father, a father who he wants to be a father, he wants to have children, he wants to leave a legacy behind. And part of the legacy he wants to leave behind as a good man, because as you said in the beginning, that the woman can be a stay-at-home mom with a good man. So if she marries a good man, then the good man is going to want to leave a good legacy behind, a good reputation behind. And since he's going to be married with a woman, he wants his reputation to show that he left resources behind for his woman and his children. That's part of his good reputation as a good man. It's that simple.
So you have nowhere to go. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against stay-at-home moms. I fully support them. My own mother is a stay-at-home mom. But 50% of the business was written under her name because my dad knew that she can leave at any moment.
Wait, your dad left 50% of the resources under her name because he knew she could leave at any moment? So that means your dad was operating out of fear, not out of love, and the desire to leave a good reputation behind? Interesting.
That's why he was making sure that she has amazing conditions in their relationship, and because he loved her, he wanted to make sure that with or without him, she will live a great life. And this is love. This is partnership.
Oh, so it was out of love and not fear. So your dad was planning as a patriarch, as a father, to leave a legacy behind and reputation. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with the righteous patriarchy. Nothing wrong.
But what you're talking about, it's about control. It's not about love.
How is it about control when you are describing the exact same thing that the first woman that you're trying to review stated that she wanted? She wanted to bring back the patriarchy, the rule of the father, the care of the father to leave a legacy behind, the father to leave resources behind, while she stay at home with the kid. That's exactly what you're describing. So I don't see the control here. Is it because she said the word patriarchy and not fatherarchy? I mean, patriarchy is the rule of the father supplying resources for the family. If you want a different word, we can do that, the fatherarchy.
And both of my parents, even though I was raised by them, by a stay-at-home mother and by a businessman, they always told me, Albina, never depend on the bank. And my dad also told me, never depend on the husband. You can depend financially only on your father.
Okay, you can depend financially only on your father, but not on your husband. I mean, are you going to live forever with your father? Are you going, after you getting married with your husband, are you still going to be depending financially on your father only and not your husband? What kind of madness is this? Like, and your father gave you this advice? What kind of father is this? This is madness. While his wife is financially depending on him as a stay-at-home mom, and he put 50% of the business under his wife's name, but now he's telling his daughter to not depend on her husband, while his wife is dependent upon him. This guy is trying to destroy the patriarchy. I mean, what kind of father is that? I mean, this guy is a good example of the good patriarch. And he raised his daughter under that good patriarchy. And he treated his wife according to that righteous patriarchy. But now He's telling his daughter not to get involved in such a good patriarchy. But this guy is turning things upside down. He's telling his daughter not to go into the light anymore, but go into the darkness. That is what he's doing. He's calling the good evil and the evil good. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So no wonder you have a wrong view of the patriarchy, because your father is helping to corrupt your own mind toward the patriarchy. Like, that makes no logical sense. To depend on your father, but not on your husband.
And this is the privilege which I have today. Unfortunately, many people don't. But it's so important to make sure that you have your own income. Feminism is about having an opportunity to leave those toxic relationships. So stop promoting this, because if you think you are helping stay-at-home mothers, no, you're not. They themselves know what to do in order to have great conditions for themselves in this relationship. They do not need patriarchy. Trust me.
There is a big difference between toxic relationship and the patriarchy. They are not synonymous. A relationship can be toxic because of any one of the two people that come together, either because of the man or the woman, because the woman can be the cause of the toxicity in the relationship. Let's make that clear. Or the man can also be the cause of the toxicity in the relationship. Let's make that clear. That has nothing to do with the patriarchy, which is the rule of the father, the rule of the righteous and loving father. Anyway, let's leave it here. Until next time, stay safe and healthy.